One morning, after drinking my coffee, I walked to my front door to collect my post, as I do every day. Among annoying unsolicited letters and hideous brown envelopes containing bills, there it was, a stuffed A4 white envelope staring back at me. Little did I know at that moment that this perfectly innocent envelope contained a vast number of information about Madeleine, information that I simply had to collect and arrange in a decent manner in order to reveal its precious information to you today in this little film that you are watching right now. At first, we were touched, we were involved, and our emotions thrown into turmoil. But then, we became confused and suspicious. Madeleine Beth McCann was soon to become the official face of Missing Kids, a brand that her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, had built almost overnight. Let me also mention that Kate and Jerry McCann raised millions of pounds to use for finding Madeleine. They've really raised an impressive amount of money. Unfortunately for them, the first £1 million raised for the Madeleine's fund was spent by the McCanns to pay for their mortgage, which sparked a lot of negative publicity for them. I'm going to reveal to you the amazing information that I've read that day containing that innocent-looking envelope that was to change my life forever. I will try to give you a fairly short resume of it out of the hundreds of papers and photos that I had to go through and compile from, so that now you can read, see, and understand all of it easily. Our story starts very innocently with a family like any other, a family of doctors, Kate and Jerry McCann, together with their 3 children. The twins, a girl and a boy, nearly 3 years old at that time, and the girl, Madeleine, at the age of nearly 4 at the time of her disappearance. Our story goes on for a bit, as innocently as it starts. It was a family and friends holiday in Praia da Luz Resort in Algarve, Portugal, where the McCanns arrived on the 28th of April 2007. Judging by the first 6 days that they have spent there together, was nothing to predict what was going to happen next. The tragedy struck late one evening, more precisely on the 3rd of May 2007, while the McCanns were dining with their friends at a restaurant close to their hotel and the room where their children were left on their own, asleep in their beds. Furthermore, the children were given sleeping pills to ensure that they won't wake up and possibly get scared when finding themselves all alone. I myself am not an advocate for giving sleeping pills to children, especially to perfectly healthy children, but I will refrain myself from judging this action, as I'm simply no God and no judge. However, the McCanns declared that their children were checked on a regular basis starting with 8 p.m. onwards. So coming back to our story and recalling the events of that fateful evening, we know from the police reports released to the public that at 9 p.m., Jerry McCann went to check on his children, declaring that they were perfectly fine at that time. At 9:30 p.m., we know from the same police report that a friend of the family, Matthew Oldfield, was the one who checked the kids, followed at 10 p.m. by the mother, Kate McCann. She stated that she came into the room and seen the twins, but was faced with an empty bed in a place where Madeline was supposed to be asleep. Up to this day, Madeline's bed remains empty, as nobody's seen her ever again since that night. Or did they? At that moment, Kate McCann, stunned and surely shocked, screamed the following words: "They've taken her." That's according to the witness, Charlotte Pennington, who was considered a vital witness by the Portuguese police. I still cannot make sense out of these words, "they've taken her," and I'm trying hard but failing miserably every time I try to imagine what would make Kate McCann shout out these particular words. What would make me shout out these words? Wouldn't I scream, "Oh my God, where is she?" or something of the sort? What would you scream or shout out in a situation like this? Another fact that bothers me is the family friend Matthew Oldfield's statement to the police that changed no more, no less than 3 times. Firstly, he said that he went only to the patio doors, not entering the room, and just listening in for any giveaway sounds coming from inside that might reveal the children's state, awake or not. Followed by another statement, this time saying that in fact he did enter the room, seen the twins, but not Madeline, as her bed was somehow placed behind the door. Once again, his statement changed, this time Mr. Oldfield declaring that once again he did not enter the room, but just looked inside from the corridor through the door which was left ajar by the parents. He confirms again that he has seen the twins, but not Madeline. It's strange that he says that he could see the twins from that position, but not the window which was by the twins' bed. We also note that in all 3 statements that he has given, not one confirms Madeline's presence at that time in that room. Maybe it's just me, but I always get suspicious when a witness changes his or her statements, don't you? Let's once again go back to the events of that evening to refresh our memories so that we can get to talk about the photos game, the new path, the new theory never looked at, never considered, never thought of by anyone as yet, a road that could possibly lead to Madeline. The police was called at 10:50 p.m. and I'm still unclear by whom and why so late, nearly an hour from when Kate McCann discovered Madeline being gone. The police arrived at 11:05 p.m. At 11:15 p.m., the police officers at the scene report to the headquarters that this is a possible missing child case. The Portuguese police was criticized and blamed by the McCanns for their late arrival to the scene, although what I've understood is that they came only 15 minutes after receiving the call and not 1 hour as the McCanns claimed. Let's not forget another important fact. The bed, Madeline's empty bed. We all seen that photo given by the police to the press showing an undisturbed bed. Now, how did this little girl slept on that bed? Or how was she taken from that bed, leaving it so undisturbed, almost untouched and immaculate, if it wasn't for that soft toy left by the pillow? I cannot find an explanation to this fact, no matter how much I try to. Can you? From the start, question marks popped up in my head like mushrooms in the rain. Yes, I got suspicious and had unanswered questions like so many of you, and I still do. So from that moment on, I've started to look more closely at any photos released to the press and made available to us, and any bit of information that I could lay my hands on. The first 2 photographs of Madeleine released to the public by her parents to help identify her were from the start surrounded by question marks by the authorities who are investigating the case at that time. Firstly, the paper those photos were printed on was not coming from the place where the McCanns were staying, or indeed from that area. This was declared by Anthony Duante, one of the investigators. He goes even further and declares that he has seen these photos printed, formatted as a poster, which again could not have been made in that area. Furthermore, the police report clearly states that those 2 photos were in fact printed on a printer belonging to a British member to the Ocean Club, Amy Tierney, who in turn declares that those photos were given to her on a memory card by Russell O'Brien, another doctor, and yet another friend of the McCann's family. The police was never able to find this printer, as apparently it was returned to France to the owner. Draw your own conclusion from this. When the 3rd photo of Madeleine was released by the McCanns to the press, the one with the tennis balls, 2 days after her disappearance, I became once again suspicious. Why? Well, because as you can see for yourselves, Madeleine looks very different from the first 2 photos. You could say that, well, this seems to be a recent photo, and I agree. Why then not release this one first, if this was a more accurate and up-to-date looks physical appearance of Madeleine? I've never understood this action at the time, but now I do. It's simply part of this new theory, the photos game, and I will be explaining this to you very soon. Before we go further with our story, let me tell you first about a recent discovery that I made, a tool, a new software for my computer. It's important because this tool was used in my work and uncovered a lot of important data about this case. So let me explain a bit how it works. Now, this software is called EXIF tool that you can download off the internet. A software that when you drop a digital photo or even a video clip in it, very clearly tells you all of the data that lies behind the photo, so to speak. You cannot see this data just looking at a photo or the video, but the moment you drop it into this EXIF tool software, you realize that it's all there. When the photo was taken, the date, time, down to the last second, the luminosity of it, and many other technical terms, data that helps you identify the brand of the camera that was used. You can write words to describe that photo or even hide little messages for someone without everyone seeing them. It's a great tool, very useful and very effective. Now going back to this photo of Madeline, the one with the tennis balls, dragging and dropping it into my EXIF tool software, I made an amazing discovery, one that confirmed my theory of the photos game. The place where it says original file, with other words, the exact date and time the photo was taken, I've read this: 5th of May 2007. With other words, this photograph was taken, according to the EXIF tool, 2 days after Madeline's disappearance. How could that be? My imagination, my emotions, and my thoughts went wild, while still trying to come up with a reasonable and logical explanation for it. I went on many internet sites and blogs that posted this photo, and although I found many of the same photo, I could only find 2 that showed me the data behind it, one in America and one in Canada. So the theory I was playing with at the time failed miserably. Let me explain. It is possible that when you take a photo of another photo, the data showing in the EXIF tool would be that of the recent photo you've taken, not the original one. But in this case, the theory that someone done this, it's impossible, because these 2 photos that I found and posted in 2 different countries had the exact date, hour, minute, and second. So in fact, it was the same photograph, but someone forgot to erase the data contained in it, and only visible to us when using the EXIF tool. You may be wondering if this data can be changed. Of course it can, by a professional, as I wouldn't know how. In this case though, the question would be, why? And by whom? Why someone would do this, and who would have an interest in doing so? Scratching your heads at this time? So did I. Still am. So let's see what we have learned from this 3rd photo, the one with the tennis balls. First, Madeline looks totally different compared with how she looked in the first 2 photos. Second, we have the data that clearly shows us that this photo was taken 2 days after Madeline disappeared. And if someone changed expertly this data, then why and who did it? And thirdly, out of so many of these photos, how come I've only found 2 containing the data, the rest of them showing nothing at all? More importantly, showing no original date and time of when this photo was taken. Has someone mistakenly released this photo among so many others of the same, forgetting to erase the data as he or she did in the other photos? I believe that there is someone out there who knows the answer to all of the above questions, and it's time to answer to us. Don't you think so? Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're right. But tell us something. Looking even more closely to this photo of Madeline, the one with the tennis balls, I've discovered also that she had 2 very visible bruises on her legs. You'll probably say, so what? Children fall and bruise all the time, and you would be right in saying that, if not for a little coincidence, as I call it, that I have discovered along the way that I will present and explain to you very soon. Moving on, of course that I was to discover something that made me twitch with the first 2 photos as well. The web of the photos game was slowly unfolding its intricate pattern right before my eyes. Looking on jerrymccan's blog.co.uk, I'm discovering this photo. Well, it is nothing wrong with it until you discover on the same blog this photo. Yes, of course, it's the same photo. They made a mistake and posted it twice. If it wasn't for the eyes. and I'll explain that in a minute. If you remember, Madeleine's parents started to make a big point, going so far as in considering a vital clue in finding Madeleine her right eye, more precisely, her birth defect called coloboma, a condition that affects approximately 7 out of 100,000 people, and it's always registered in the medical records.
Deci este o boală congenitală, colobomul implică absența unui țesut ocular și rezultă din închiderea incompletă a fisurii embrionare în perioada săptămânilor 5-8 de gestație.
Când se poate descoperi la un copil, să spunem, acest colobom și dacă în fișele medicale se va scrie acest lucru și cât de des le întâlnim?
De obicei, el se observă de la naștere, pentru că primul lucru, atât mama cât și neonatologul se uită la ochii copilului și atunci văd un semn. Poate să cheme un oftalmolog sau pediatru, poate să consemneze în foaie imediat după naștere această lipsă de substanțe, un semn particular, deci undeva ochiul nu mai are aceeași culoare, irisul și practic ochiul, ca cel congener sau ca la cei normali. Și atunci acest lucru, dacă neonatologul, pediatru suspicionează, poate chema oftalmologul ca printr-un examen relativ sumar să pună acest diagnostic.
Se poate această boală la un moment dat să dispară complet, să nu mai existe? Sau?
Nu, de dispărut de la sine nu dispare niciodată, ea rămâne la nivelul organului, la nivelul ochiului, dar depinde de dimensiuni. Poate fi refăcută chirurgical, poate fi acoperită, între ghilimele, prin diferite mijloace, dar de dispărut de la sine nu. Și nici deficitul vizual care îl antrenează.
Este un semn marcat, care în toate fotografiile sau în aspectul fizic, în toate situațiile privirii, el rămâne fix și nu se poate modifica. Adică nu există nicio altă posibilitate de a masca acest semn care este în interiorul ochiului, deci este după cornee. El este vizibil pentru că ochiul are un aspect alb la suprafață, cornea este transparentă, până transparența ei se vede această culoare a irisului și atunci lipsește o bucățică din ea. Și sigur e un semn care nu poate trece neobservat.
Nu poate să dispară, nu?
Nu, în mod natural și spontan nu poate să dispară, decât în urma unei mici intervenții chirurgicale reparatorii, dacă permite dimensiunile și structura irisului.
Este aceeași poză și într-una vedem colobomul și în celălalt
nu mai este, da.
Nu mai este.
Deci poate să fie în urma unei intervenții sau alt ochi. Deci nu se poate. Să dispară spontan.
Deci, nu se poate, nu? De exemplu, dacă la poze, să zicem, este vreo șansă să, cum să spun, lumina flash-ului cumva?
Nu, numai dacă este prelucrată fotografia. Deci nu, de incidență și asta nu.
It is strange that the McCanns only remembered to mention this so-called vital clue of Madeleine's 3 weeks after her disappearance rather than from the start. What I also found strange is the fact that the McCanns refused to hand in Madeleine's medical file to the Portuguese police when asked. Now, could it be a connection between their refusal of handing in the medical file where the birth defect would have been written and the vital clue, the defect, as we will see in photos and that I will present to you, really not existing? In other words, could this birth defect be made up, and then of course we could understand the McCann's refusal to hand in Madeleine's medical report to the police? I don't know. All I do know is that I have found quite a few photos of Madeleine that show no birth defect, no coloboma present in her right eye.
dacă facem, de exemplu, o fotografie de asta digitală, flash, la cineva, care are colobom. Deci colobomul o să arate la fel cum arată când te uiți la el peste tot.
Peste tot, el nu se poate schimba, adică altă fotografie nu poate masca acest defect. Dacă privirea este în fața aparatului, înainte, se poate observa în aceeași poziție. El nu schimbă nici poziția și el trebuie observat în toate situațiile, chiar dacă te uiți la pacientul respectiv la un aparat sau dacă faci o fotografie cu el.
Let's go through some of those photos together and see what you think. So going back to those two photos, in fact, the same photo posted twice on jerrymccann's blog.co.uk, let's take a closer look. In one, I can see the coloboma. But I really cannot see it in the other. Can you?
Deci vreau să vă arăt, am găsit pe același blog, deci Jerry McCann's blog, aceeași poză. Deci asta este aceeași poză postată de 2 ori. Da? Și aici e un pic mărită. Una are pată, defectul acela la ochi, și una nu are. V-am dat-o acum pe computer pe aceea care nu are pată. Deci după părerea dumneavoastră, poza aceasta are pată sau nu are pată?
Asta e clar că nu are.
Așa, bun, nu are pată. Acum vreau să vă întreb, este posibil să se prelucreze o poză și să se pună pată sau să se prelucreze poza și să se fi scos pata?
Foarte posibil, și una și alta.
Și una și alta.
Da,
asta are pata, da? Se vede clar, da?
Da.
Suntem de acord cu toții că are pata, nu?
Da.
Ne arată ceva exifă?
Nu,
Sau
tot nu
cum vi
arată.
se pare dumneavoastră acea pată? Vi se pare...
Da.
Să-mi spuneți dumneavoastră.
Așa, mie asta personal mi se pare pusă, dar...
Let's now look at this poster, which is an official poster. Nothing. A completely healthy, clear eye. Now let's go and take a look at some video clips in which Madeleine appears live before our eyes and where in turn can look into hers. Let me first mention that those clips were taken from BBC site posted on the net.
It's 33 days since little Madeleine McCann disappeared from Praia da Luz in Portugal. Tonight, in a special appeal, her parents, Jerry and Kate, plead for your help in the hunt for their daughter.
Can you see what I see? Another one. I cannot see a birth defect and I cannot find an explanation for this, can you? I thought that I'm going mad, insane, la la land.
Acum am pus altă fotografie. O să vă spun îndată de unde am luat-o. Vi se pare, dumneavoastră vedeți pata aceea la ochi, defectul acela?
Nu. Eu nu-l văd.
Da. Bun. Deci ăsta este luat dintr-un videoclip.
Da.
Care arată fata live.
Da.
Could Madeleine's parents really be doing this? Could the McCanns try to divert us with made-up birth defects from finding their daughter? Surely not. I still refuse to believe something so monstrous on their part. But then, I don't know what to believe. Do you? Looking now at photos of Madeleine, we see that also her teeth look different, although we are looking at the same photo. With other words, same photo, although many prints of it posted on different sites, but each having different set of teeth. Don't ask me why.
Deci mie mi se par dubioși, mi se par o bucățică aici, aici ceva lipsit. Ce dumneavoastră cum vi se?
Da, nu știu, sare în ochi și probabil că și telespectatorilor dumneavoastră se va părea foarte ciudat ce văd, adică la dinți aici și nu știu de unde patra și nu știu, o conformație foarte ciudată a lor. Aici parcă lipsește ceva, nu știu.
Da, acum dacă vă arăt aceeași poză, dați-o în spate ca să vadă telespectatorii. Aceeași poză, ați văzut că o am în nenumeroase exemplare. Dacă le punem una lângă alta, să vă uitați dumneavoastră și să vedeți că setul de dinți diferă de la fiecare, dar nu așa de curiozitate. Să vă uitați, să vedeți că diferă.
Da,
aici, pata e acolo, dar aici e altfel.
Da, aici.
De exemplu, și acum avem încă o pată aici, care nu avem în alta.
Da, bine, și unghiul.
Păi e aceeași poză. Deci vorbim de aceeași poză.
The insanity of it all is the fact that this photo game doesn't stop here, as it's something suspicious with the last photograph as well. It was supposedly taken the day Madeleine disappeared, and it shows her by the pool together with her sister and father, Jerry McCann. But once again, if we study this photo more closely, we immediately realize that what we see is not what it is. The shadows don't fall right. The little stone fence behind Madeleine is a little bit raised instead of staying straight, as we see in the photo taken of just the pool and the scenery. We also observe a foreign object between Madeleine and her sister that in fact is a piece of another photo mistakenly left in this one. We also see the pool border where they sit of a different color from the picture taken of the pool alone, as if Madeleine was taken from another photo, cut out with another pool border from another pool, another place, and pasted into the one that we now see. Call me insane, but that's how it looks to me.
E foarte ciudată, cu umbra aici, cu umbra din spate. De unde apare chestia asta? Mi se... ce ciudată e. Deci, așa o văd eu, foarte ciudat treaba asta. Deci, conform la ce se întâmplă cu umbrele, pare a fi lucrată. Sunt niște chestii care îmi dau de bănuit, deci ar fi jocul de aici, jocul umbrelor și acea margine a bazinului asta de aici, care aici nu și are justificat. Nu văd că luat din fotografia mare nu apare bazin, deci la astea îmi spun că ar fi prelucrată.
Before I go further, let me recap what we have up to now. First, we have a witness statement to the Portuguese police that changes like the British weather. Then, we have Kate McCann's call out, "They've taken her," followed by late arrival of the Portuguese police at the scene and still up to date, not knowing the reason for it. We have the photographic paper and the poster-sized prints of the first two photos under a big question mark from the investigators of the case at that time. Let's not forget the undisturbed bed and the McCann's refusal of handing in Madeleine's medical records to the Portuguese police, where her birth defect would have been noted, medical records that would have definitely put a stop to speculations from many regarding the validity and the truthfulness of Madeleine's coloboma. Let's not forget the original date we have discovered for the tennis ball photo that shows, according to the EXIF tool software, that this picture was taken 2 days after Madeleine was abducted. Also, the first two photos that show, and some not show, Madeleine's birth defect. The BBC videos in which we cannot see the coloboma. The last picture where so many things are so wrong, making this photo yet another photo that becomes disputed by so many. Let's now take a look and see what all of the above facts are telling us. What conclusion could we possibly come to considering the above mentioned facts? Well, if the McCanns would have accidentally killed their daughter with sleeping pills, as the Portuguese police accused them for nearly 1 year, then I personally don't see the need for the photos game that, in my opinion, it's a fact and a proven reality. Second, if Madeleine was in fact abducted by a pedophile or someone else, then surely the McCann's interest would have been to keep those photos real, untouched, in order for anyone to correctly identify their daughter, rather than create all this confusion and controversy regarding all of Madeleine's photos they released to the press. So the only logical explanation that I can think of is this: the McCanns know that Madeleine is alive, and they know where she is. Could that be possible? It's a theory, one that makes a lot of sense, but one that I dare not to believe because I'm a parent myself. But can you? Because of my subjectivity, I think that the only people who can give us an answer are the ones whose job is to look into cases like Madeleine's. Only they can make sense and either explain all of it away or confirm this new theory that we call the photos game. Starting from this supposition that Madeleine is alive and that her parents know where she is, I was thinking that it could also be possible that they would still keep in touch with her and the new family. I cannot say for sure that the girl I have discovered and found to have a direct connection, I thought, with Madeleine is Madeleine 100%. All I can say is that I was struck by the many coincidences that I found between the two girls, and that I would like to share those findings with you. I believe that when a child's life is at stake, we cannot afford to simply dismiss any theory or suspicion that we come across, and that no stone should be left unturned. As I said, starting from the supposition that the McCanns would stay in touch with their daughter and the new family, I started to look on the internet for evidence of this. Days transformed into nights and back into days many times over before I got lucky and typed in the search engine Maddie's 4th birthday. This took me to a site belonging to someone called Jennifer Salon in the town of Mansfield, state of Massachusetts, US. You would never guess what Jennifer's profession is. She is a photographer, and a good one too. Strange coincidence considering how our photos were worked on, transformed, data erased or changed, etc. Now her husband is a police officer since 1996 and was 2 years in the US Navy. They also have another child, a boy, RJ Salon, approximately 7 or 8 years old, I think. First thing I've noticed looking more closely at Maddie's photo from her 4th birthday, taken on the 4th of May 2007, was the 2 evident bruises that she had on her legs. Then I remember that I have seen those bruises on another little girl's legs. Yes, on Madeleine, on that photo with the tennis balls allegedly taken on the 3rd of May, but according to the EXIF tool data taken on the 5th of May 2007. When I put the two photos side by side, I couldn't help the shiver running down my spine when I realized that those two girls from two different continents with the same age, similar name, and only a day difference between the time of when those photos were taken, to find that they had the exact number of bruises, 2, placed exactly in the same place on their legs. Is that a coincidence or what? And so, the second new theory, that I've called it the coincidences theory, started to take shape in my mind. Continuing my searches on Jennifer's blog, I found a little note under one of Maddie's photos that said, she fell while trying to reach her pink hat. But hold on a minute. Doesn't Madeline have a pink hat? Okay, let's continue. We recall that in one picture, and one picture only, as I personally couldn't find another one, Madeline had a hair bead. This was present in the last picture, the one by the swimming pool. But 2 weeks later, we can also see a hair bead looking the same and in the same place in Maddie's hair. And to continue adding to our coincidences, let's take a look at this photo. It's a screenshot from the last video made by the McCanns on the way to Portugal. And here is Maddie, looking like she's wearing the same trousers only 2 weeks later. Same trousers as Madeline. Well, not enough? I agree. We know that Madeline loved to be walked with a pony, but her counterpart, Maddie, also likes to walk with a pony. Now this is a photo of Madeline in her Halloween costume. Guess who this is? This is Jennifer, Maddie's mom, wearing similar Halloween costume when she was little. And let's face it, little girls love to dress like princesses or witches, but not many like the pumpkin outfit. Maybe like mother, like daughter? Let me go further and state that I found once more an interesting coincidence. Many of you might remember this photo showing Madeline in a very strange position, if we can call it that, for a child. I personally could only find one photo with another woman in the almost same position as Madeline's. This Photoshop was of a woman that is not relevant to our case, taken by none other than, oh yeah, Jennifer Salon, Maddie's mom, who says on her site that she loves photographing people in this position. Also, if we recall the last picture with Madeline by the pool, we remember that the pool's borders with Madeline on it don't match the real one seen in the photo taken of the pool on its own. But if we look at the pool from Cozumel, Mexico, where Jennifer went on holiday just before Madeline's disappearance, we'll see that those pool borders match perfectly our pool in the last picture. Now, let's have a look at yet another coincidence. Maddie has brown hair, it's true. But let's take a look at two of Madeline's photos, taken allegedly in the same day, approximately the same time. And take a look at her hair. Is it getting darker?
Could they have dyed her hair? Looking at those two photos, we see that also Madeleine's ears are pretty much identical in size and shape with Maddie's. What do you think? It's not a common shape, and it's striking the fact that it looks so identical with another girl's called Maddie too, same age, etc. Don't you think? Now let's compare Madeleine's teeth with Maddie's. I have circled the matches that I found for you. It is striking, isn't it? And now we're talking about dental matches between the two girls.
Let me give you one more little coincidence. Jennifer Salon, Maddie's mom, came to London many times, and we can confirm this fact by looking at the photos that she took in London and posted on her internet site. Furthermore, the data behind the last photo, the one with our Madeleine by the pool in Algrave, allegedly taken on the day of her abduction, match almost identically the data we find behind the photos that Jennifer takes in London, as if the same photo camera was used. More precisely, Jennifer's.
Happy spring back to me, Grandpa. I really miss you. So I hope you come back someday. Thank you. Bye.
And now I will give you an extract of a report sent to the Portuguese police that I found in that innocent-looking envelope. Madeleine McCann knew before the family where she is now, and she have spent some time with that family before her so-called abduction in May 2007. Madeleine McCann left for a holiday in Cozumel, Mexico on the week between 13th of May 2007 and 20th of May 2007. On their return, they have synchronized their journey, Madeleine and Jennifer, with Jerry McCann, where possibly Jerry McCann received the last picture. Jerry kept the picture for a few days, till 24th of May 2007, when Madeleine McCann arrived safely home in the US and when he gets the announcement from the existing family that they arrived home. Then he releases the last picture. Kate and Jerry McCann synchronized the time with the other family and went on holiday in the US, where Madeleine McCann is at present. The amount of details which are similar to the two girls is impressive, and it cannot be simple coincidences.
Monday 21st of May 2007, Jerry McCann flew to UK. Tuesday 22nd of May 2007, Jerry McCann returns back to Portugal. In the same day, the existing mother of Madeleine McCann, Jennifer Salon, says that they are stuck in Cancun on their return from Mexico holiday. Now, 2 days later, the existing mother of Madeleine McCann, Jennifer Salon, is thanking to everyone for the special week in Mexico, but is also thanking to someone for a special day. I don't want to speculate, but I am sure that she has met Jerry and gave him the last picture. I believe that because in 21st of May 2007 she announced that they arrived home, and then, but only then, Jerry McCann released the last picture, which of course is a made-up picture. 1 year later, 8th of April 2008, the existing mother of Madeleine McCann, Jennifer Salon, is making a statement that in approximately 55 days they will leave for Disney World, and in 5th of June, approximately after 55 days, the McCanns announced that they are going in their first holiday without Madeleine. Later we found out that they were in US, the location where Madeleine is right now. From all that we've read above, we can draw the following conclusion, and the only one that makes sense. Madeleine's third photo, the one by the swimming pool, in reality was taken on her holiday in Cozumel, Mexico, where she was with Jennifer Ceylon between 13th and 20th of May 2007. But someone made a mistake when erasing the data behind the photo, and instead of changing it into 3rd of May 2007, he or she changed it into 5th of May 2007. Now it all makes sense, because let's not forget a very important fact. Jerry McCann released this particular photo on the 24th of May 2007. Let's also not forget the fact that no one except the McCann's friends have seen Madeleine on the 3rd of May 2007, the day of her disappearance. Many people suspect that Madeleine disappeared a day before, or at least few good hours earlier than the McCanns reported to the police. In any of these two situations, Madeleine had plenty of time to arrive in Mansfield and celebrate her 4th birthday on the 4th of May 2007, day when this photo was taken, photo in which we discovered a bruises coincidence, bruises located in the same place as our Madeleine. Our source also tells us that there is a photo where the handles from the cupboard from Jerry's house show in a photo in which we have Jennifer. As soon as we enter in the possession of this photo, we will be presenting it to you as well. So-called coincidences and links are connecting those two girls and those two families enough for us to have some serious question marks raised, don't you think? In the video clip that we've seen Maddie in, from what I've understood, she says butcher grandpa. I'm not sure, but if she does says that, it's another big coincidence, because our Madeleine indeed has a grandpa, which is a butcher.
Happy spring, Butchery Grandpa. I really miss you. So I hope you come back someday. Thank you. Bye.
There is also gossip, but as we all know, at the core of every gossip, we will always have some truth. That Jennifer's children are not her natural children, but we also know that Kate McCann had her children by in vitro fertilization. Furthermore, Jerry McCann was accused publicly that he is not the biological father to Madeleine. It gets complicated, right? This case is very complicated, and I agree. It is more complicated than it looks at the first sight, and that is why we have to search thoroughly every lead, every coincidence and doubt that we might have, and look into everything that is presented to us, no matter how far-fetched, ridiculous, or impossible, as some might say, it looks to us at first.
Now this is how the report ends, putting also an end to our second theory, the coincidences theory, that could or could not prove to be the right path into finding Madeleine today. This theory of coincidences that I was given to have, and so in return I can reveal it to you now, it's an interesting one. I'm not sure if this girl Maddie is in fact Madeleine. I'm just the writer here, but I do believe that the authorities should check it out, that there is enough doubt here to make the authorities want to check out this information.
Happy spring, Butchery Grandpa. I really miss you. So I hope you come back someday. Thank you. Bye.
We are talking about a child's life here, and no new information should be taken lightly. It is important. As you could all see, we have two new theories in this case: the photos game and the theory of coincidences. If only one proves to be right, and I strongly believe that at least one is, then this whole new situation, this new light brought into the case, would impact in a way that no one ever dreamed of, and possibly could lead us to Madeleine. If this little diary that I've written will at least touch even a trace of conscience in someone's mind involved in this case, then I would have done my duty. And the hope that we can find Madeleine will be justified and much stronger than it is today.